Afternoon, teachers. I'm Sean's mother. Um, it's very nice to see you all again since our last parent teacher conference meeting. However, I'm a little concerned this time since it's about Sean's development.
Hello, Mrs. Stewart. We are so happy that you were able to come out and meet with us today. In this parent teacher meeting, we really wanted to discuss Sean's progress with you for this semester. Now, we are quite happy to say that Sean's fine and gross motor skills have significantly improved, yes. And we have also noticed that he is able to better manage his emotions now than the last time we spoke. However, we are still concerned about Sean's language development. We have been observing and documenting all areas of Sean's development in order to provide you with a more accurate report of Sean's progress, as well as to create lessons that would be able to aid him in his improvement in those weak areas. Um, in order to document the information, we used a number of instruments, namely running records, anecdotal records, time sampling, checklists, and also the use of a portfolio to accumulate the information regarding Sean's progress from these observational sessions that we have been doing this semester. Now, the analysis revealed that it is quite possible that Sean may have a speech and language developmental delay. Based on our observation, we noted that Sean uses a limited vocabulary. He prefers to point or nod as opposed to using his words. He occasionally stammers and stutters. Um, he does not speak in full sentences, nor does he seek to respond to the questions asked, even if we are to call on him specifically. Sean does not engage in conversation with his other peers nor his teachers, which is very concerning for us. He still prefers to play alone, as we pointed out the last time, and he becomes easily frustrated when he's trying to explain something, especially if he is having a hard time coming out with the words. We also noticed that his struggles with speech is possibly affecting his self-esteem, so he's become more withdrawn. Um and so we wanted to bring these to your attention. Now you may be wondering, what is it that we have expected of him? Well, a milestone is actually a goal that a child is supposed to achieve by a certain age. Now children reach goals at different times, but the milestones are guidelines to show what is appropriate to a child's age. So it is known that the language milestones for 4-year-old usually include them using connecting words, the ability to understand complex questions or explain complicated emotions, the ability to speak in sentences using 5 or more words. Sometimes they can create and tell you a story just by observing a picture. They usually improve in their pronunciation and grammar from the level they were at age 3. They use descriptive words, past tense, and they can even list items. So now, with the milestones listed and as opposed to observation, you see why we are a little bit concerned about Sean.
Miss, I'm aware that Sean stutters. He even stutters sometimes at home, but I really didn't think that this could have been the problem.
We decided it might be best for us to do some focused observation on him to determine where he is and how we can help him progress. So the checklist being our first tool that we use a criteria of 9 things that he should be able to do at his age. And of the 9 things, he was able to complete two. And the 2 things were he was able to pronounce words correctly and he was able to point at items when asked. For instance, if I said, Sean, can you show me the ball? He's able to point at the ball. If I ask him to show me a body part, I say, can you show me your ears or your eyes or your nose? He can do that. So those 2 criteria he was able to complete. However, the others, such as follow 2 or 3 part instructions, use 3 or 4 words in a sentence, minimum words, telling me what he's able to do, telling stories, comprehend concepts such as large, small, big, and ask meaning of words. For example, if I tell him a new word and he's not able to understand it, he'll say, Miss, what does that mean? Those are things that he was unable to do. At his age, he should. Next tool that we use is that of running records. This is where we observe Sean For a short period of time, we observed him for 20 minutes during free play, where the children are asked to just randomly choose whatever they like to play with, and we observe how they go about doing it. So he decided to use the blocks. He went to the block section and he was playing by himself, engaging in solitary play. He was building, constructing stuff, putting things together, taking them apart. However, a friend came by and wanted to play as well. So the friend asked him, Sean, can you please pass me a blue block? Sean heard him, looked at him, but just randomly pointed at any block, smiled, and continued to play. Further down during the observation, I went and I asked him, Sean, what are you doing? What are you making? And he looked at me and he said, house. He did not say, I am making a house or this is a house. He just said house. This shows that he understood what I asked. However, he was unable to put it in a complete sentence. The next tool that we used was that of anecdotal records, where I observed him during a specific setting. I chose a story time where the children are normally asked to sit in a circle around the rug, and I read a story and we interact stuff. But Sean was sitting apart from the others, so I asked him to sit between two of his friends. I said, Sean, can you please sit between Tori and Alex? And he just sat where he was. He continued sitting where he was and he did not move. So I had to motion for him and use my hand and said, come. And he came. Um, I'm not sure if he understood what I asked when I asked him to sit next to or between his friends. However, it showed that he needs visuals because I show him, I used my hand and I motioned him, he came and he sat with me using the motions. So it shows here that he has a developmental language delay, as in he cannot comprehend what I'm saying, but he is able to respond to actions. Final tool that we use is that of time sampling, where we observe him for periods of time, intervals of time, for every 5 minutes, for 20 minutes. Okay, here he was drawing. You can see he was drawing, he was making a picture. Here I should say was sitting close by. And the pair had the crayon that he wanted. But instead of Sean asking him, can you lend me the crayon, or when you are finished with the crayon, can I have it please? He just pointed at the crayon. However, the friend was not paying attention to him and did not notice that he was pointing at the crayon. So after the friend finished, his friend put it aside. And Sean just continued pointing at the crayon. He did not verbalize that he wanted the crayon. So I asked, what is wrong? Do you want the red crayon? And he just continues pointing at it. He did not say anything. So I took the crayon and I gave it to him. And he smiled and he continued coloring his picture. So at the end of coloring, I said, what did you draw? And he looked at me and he says, picture. So here again, we see that he understood what I asked, but he's unable to verbalize it.
Miss, in being a curious parent, I would like to know why did you use these different observation tools?
This is mainly so because we didn't want to base our information on just one form of observational method. If we would have done so, then our information would not have been accurate. So the use of the different observational method was used in order for us to have accurate information on his development and also for us to see where his problems lie. Now, Miss Olivier had just gone through the different methods. These methods were used throughout the term, but in different situations. Take, for instance, the checklist. Now, this is a tool that allows us to outline a list in which we can check to see if the child's behavior or trait has occurred. And in Sean's case, we use the checklist because it helps us to focus directly on his language development. It also guided us along to see how far he is on his developmental milestone and what skill he has mastered at his stage and level. We use the checklist one day every week after we would have taught and engaged them in various language activities. And as such, we were able to identify errors where Sean has fallen in his language development. We also use the time sampling. For the term, however, we use it 2 days in every week. We use
to record how often his stuttering occurred and how he would have interact with his classmates, which Miss Mattis would have told you earlier. He mostly kept to himself and hardly ever talked to anyone. The time sampling allow us to observe him in his natural environment. So when he went about doing his things in the different areas where we were actually looking at him, so he didn't get a chance to present. He didn't know we were observing, and so we were able to focus on our attention on his language and speech development. The running record and the anecdotal record are very similar. We use them because they provided us with more in-depth details on Sean's progress. These two methods we did them every day because we wanted to see what was really going on and what was affecting him and so forth. The running record was used because it allows us to make a recording after the event would have happened. We have to record the things in the order it takes place, and exactly as it takes place. The anecdotal record, like I said earlier, it is a lot like the running record. We basically write everything down just as it happens. However, with this method, we record as we observe. So, what happened during the activity or at the time we're observing is exactly what is written down. No way for us to write in our own perception. You know, along with the time sampling and the checklist, the running record and the anecdotal record provided us with enough information to identify Sean's his language delay. But don't get frustrated though, because we are here to help. We are right here. We are going to walk along with you to get Sean where he's supposed to be. And Miss Datia is going to outline some of the ways we are going to go about doing so.
Now, the good thing about Sean's case is that the delay is cited early and intervention can be sorted as soonest. And as usual, I'm really excited to share with you some of the strategies that will definitely help Sean achieve his milestones. My team and I are hopeful that we will work cooperatively to ensure the strategies are used to prevent Sean from developing communication communication problems later on in life. Firstly, one strategy that can be used is play. Young children learn about their intellectual, social, symbol, and language through play. Sean's social communication would be enriched because he would be engaged in different patterns of communication, flexible and expressive tones, and applied language rules. Another strategy that we can use is reading, and this one you can use this one at home anytime, anywhere. Develop great speech, language, and reading skills. So you model the reading skill, the reading for Sean, so he knows what are the good things he can do whilst reading. Learn new words, he learn new vocabulary. So in that way, he can develop those skills. I would recommend that you start by using picture books for Sean because he already has the delay. So once you get the picture books, he can develop automaticity whilst reading a most notable strategy that you can use, you can always capitalize on the opportunity to read with Sean every oh not read per se but hold a conversation with Sean every so often that you see you have him if you're walking down the road, you're going to the supermarket, you ask him, question him on things that's going on so he can speak. He can always speak, he always feel the need to express himself, develop self-confidence and so. And you can also get a speech therapist. So once you get in contact with a speech therapist, he can give you expert knowledge on how Sean can develop his speech and language delays.
So, if this language delay is not addressed as soon as possible, what can be the long term challenges for Sean in the later future?
Firstly, he will have difficulty following instructions within the school setting and at home. Sean will struggle with vocabulary. Because of limited word knowledge, he will not be able to express a message clearly. There will be the challenge of cohesiveness, expressing sequence of events, evaluating information, syntax, and story grammar within a storytelling task. Sean may develop low self-esteem and lack of confidence when he realizes his skills does not match those of his peers. He may also be at risk of being bullied when other children become more aware of his difficulties. Because he may be unable to cope in group situations, Sean may experience social isolation, which will affect his ability to initiate and maintain friendships. Not addressing the delay can affect his academic performance. For example, developing literacy skills such as reading and writing and coping in the school environment. If he continues to demonstrate weakness in language, this subclinical weakness could significantly impact academic success.
So that's it for today, Miss. I hope you enjoy and you can take the strategies to heart and use it at home. Anytime you feel the need to contact the team, you can, and we'll discuss further about Sean because we want to see the best for Sean. We don't want him developing communication problems later on.